1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on episode 26, a milestone. We have been doing this podcast for half a year now.
Yeah, it's been a long and painful road, but we've got
okay. Long and painful? Oh, man. I think no one's going to believe that. We've both expressed way too many times on this how much we look forward to it during
Absolutely.
the week.
Yeah. Honestly, it feels like we've been doing it longer, though.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, technically we have been doing it longer, but...
much like 2020, I felt like it was simultaneously just a rapid-fire blur. It just flew by, and it felt like it dragged on for an eternity. And I feel like... sorry, go on.
I was going to say, did we start this during the pandemic? We did, didn't we?
We did, yeah. We started it last... It would have... Well, if it's half a year, it would have been last summer, so June or July.
Oh, yeah, so been into the thick of the pandemic, probably.
Right in the middle. I think, yeah, the exact time. Podcast was something that I had been thinking about doing for quite a while, and it was only during the pandemic when I didn't have my 3-hour-a-day commute that I suddenly had some more time to actually put some thought into it. And
yeah, God help us when you need to go back to work.
Well, I think it's well established enough now that won't be.
But fuck work. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, fire me. I've got a podcast to do.
Priority.
Oh my god. So we topics this week. I had one which admittedly was a bit dry and nerdy. I liked the one that you suggested more though, which is also potentially dry and nerdy, but I think you're going to take it in a weird direction. So
yeah,
the topic, do you want to introduce it since it was yours?
Sure. The topic theme for today is different kinds of currency that could be used in an ideal world, or in a specifically not ideal world.
Yeah, I think that's the key takeaway there is how are we defining an ideal world? And I think because that's subjective, the answer is going to be subjective as well.
Yeah, I think, much like in Sonic, I think rings would be a really cool currency.
You know who used a ring-like currency in ancient times?
Ooh, hit me. History.
China or Japan, actually.
China?
God damn it.
Sorry.
They actually, their coins had a little hole in the middle of them.
Oh, yeah, the square hole in the middle. Yeah,
and the idea was you would, instead of having a wallet or something like that, they would put a string through them. And so...
That's pretty cool.
Similar to how you'd get, like, rolls of coins from a bank, they would have coins, but they would be tied up on a string, and that would be ways that they could, do currency trading.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. You'd go out to the shops wearing like a ring or two, drop them on the counter, and just walk out with like, I don't know, bag of crisps.
Yeah, I mean, your hands might not be the the best way to carry your money. I mean, you're basically advertising to everyone and saying, "Hey, mug me."
Well, yeah, but if you got like small chicks, if you had a large amount of money, actually, it would just be like a more valuable ring, wouldn't it?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, like you could wear a gold ring, and that's like $100 bill, or you could wear like bronze ring, and that's like a $5.
Oh god, I love this idea more and more. I think that'd be really cool.
It would be, but and I think many people, if you're carrying around large amounts of especially small currency, people would probably, you could still use like a purse, like a coin purse, like a leather satchel or some kind. You could do the Chinese method and have the string tied through the coins.
Yeah. Ooh. I don't think you ever got this over in America, but have you seen a program called Raven?
No.
Okay. There's the point system on that is like these large like bangles kind of go around your wrist rings.
Oh.
That potentially. I mean that's very large and chunky actually, but
the you know what show they used rings for payment in some occasions? Vikings?
I feel like Viking. Oh god, no, no.
they had like gold like bangles and armbands and things, and there were some that were considered sacred, and some that they just would use them as currency. Like, here, take this. I'll pay for it this way or something.
Right.
Um, okay, I mean that's a pretty versatile one, but I think it has an upward limit. It's fine for the everyman.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be hard to do a check kind of thing equivalent. Mind you, that would just be like put a diamond in it or something.
To venture mildly into the political modern day, there's a politician in China, and she did something to piss off the U.S. I can't remember what exactly it was. It was something that merited like sanction, and
Right.
they froze her assets, and in the U.S. bank where she had a good chunk of her money, and so they were. I remember hearing them talk about her. She would have to walk around with essentially suitcases full of millions of dollars in cash because she couldn't open a bank account.
Oh, you just you just spend a small amount of that money on like a basically your own vault. Surely,
Well,
you
yeah,
got that
yeah,
much money.
that's a good point. I mean, I guess if in this hypothetical situation, it's probably a less developed. Well, I don't even know why I'm assuming that. Because
What do you mean?
well, I guess I'm falling into the trap a lot of people do, thinking that we're moving away from hard currency and going more and more to digital stuff, which
Yeah, that's true.
we are, but I don't necessarily think that's a good thing or necessarily an optimal thing,
Yeah.
because we're
It's
essentially trading on people's faith. The moment people lose faith, all currency loses value.
Yeah. I mean, on the one hand, it means the businesses are booming because people are like, they don't physically see the money, so they're not like as careful about it. I know
Yeah.
certainly the moment, fuck, what's it called when you like just swipe your card as opposed to putting in the numbers? Touch payment, whatever it's
Oh,
called.
yeah. Well, yeah.
I
The
can't think of the word. It's pretty
contactless.
simple. Contactless.
Yeah.
When contactless came, I know I was drinking a lot more when contactless came about because I wasn't going up to the bar with a fucking
Well,
like my loose change.
I remember I got weird looks when Raymond and I came over to London in 2017 because I paid for stuff in cash,
Yeah,
and I did that again. I always make sure that I have some cash on me because occasionally I've experienced like credit card readers and stuff going down too often to not have at least some cash on me.
yeah. Everyone's got a little bit, but it's like minimalist.
Contactless payment actually only came to the U.S. fairly recently. It was because it was there in
Yeah.
2017 when I was there in England, but I only just got my very first contactless credit card in 2020, and they weren't that common before. Like a couple of places had things like the stupid cell phone payment, like Apple Pay and whatnot. It probably showed up here in like 2018, 2019, and I just didn't notice it because I'm a fucking Neanderthal who's apparently afraid of technology.
I mean, you say that, but you just got like this super mega graphics card.
I'm trying not to brag about that.
Yeah, it's fine. You can have your moment in the sun. You have
Uh,
2 minutes. Go.
I have a 3090. Brand new NVIDIA graphics card. The things are rarer than gold at this point because there's a supply shortage. But yeah, it's things pretty impressive.
So yeah, any professional thieves out there? You
Yeah, exactly. You're welcome to try to break in, although I wouldn't advise it for your health. But there's there's like what was I gonna say? We deviated from the oh,
yeah, I was gonna bring it back, but
So,
like what your
there
currency
was
be?
the contactless thing brings up a conversation I had with my friend Juan.
Yeah.
We like he had this joke back in college whenever we'd go out to eat somewhere and people would be I mean he was doing okay because he actually I don't know when the guy slept because he managed to get a bachelor's, a master's, and 2 years of work experience at like an actual company working 20 hours a week, all in 4 years. And he had time to goof around with the rest of us. So I'm just convinced that he was sleeping like 2 hours a night, like some kind of fucking vampire. But we went out to a restaurant one time, and he had this running joke. It's like, oh, why are you one of our friends was kind of figuring out how the bill was going to be split, like down to the penny and stuff like that. And Juan made a joke. It was like, yeah, why are you worried about that? Everything just costs one swipe. Because
Yeah.
you swipe the card and then that's it. And I think you made a good point earlier that people were spending a lot more when they weren't thinking about the. I definitely feel like I'm spending more when I have the cash in hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, like no. Like I feel like I'm spending more.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I have to emphasize the right word in that sentence. Like if I pay for something, like say I go to the package store, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I buy like a bottle of scotch or a 12-pack of beer or something. If I'll use beer as an example because it's the same, it's the right price. So it's like $15. So I'll give them, like, if I paid with a credit card, I'll feel like, oh, I barely spent anything. But if I gave them a $20 bill, I'd feel like, oh shit, I just spent money.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a that's why I think it's maybe unhealthy moving towards contactless and like all digital payment, because the numbers, it just becomes a number. Like you don't really associate it with something physical that has value.
Yeah, which is great for the commerce of the country. But anyway, we'll move back.
Move back to ideal currency. Sorry, we're
What would
moving
your
into
currency be?
we're moving into economics, which is something that I have a lot of. It's another, besides history, it's another thing that I'm a hobbyist on.
Mm.
Yeah, no. So ideal currency. So the ring thing makes sense, but I honestly, it depends on like the ideal world. So right, if you're talking about the reason
Your ideal world.
yeah, the reason that gold has been such a universal currency for so long is because of it has a lot of properties that made it perfect for use as money. That being, in the ancient world, it really didn't have much of a use. Like it was very malleable and not very strong, so it wasn't very good for weapons or armor.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
it's an
for-
alloy.
No, it isn't.
Well, no, okay. Let me put another
Oh,
way.
ore is an ally. You said ore is an ally. Sorry, I thought you said.
No.
What did you say?
We make it into an alloy. Like, the fucking money we have isn't made of gold or anything.
It isn't.
I don't think it ever was made of purely gold.
It was
'cause
purely
it would just
gold.
fall apart.
No,
Really?
no. Yeah, it was purely gold. And the
Wait,
reason,
in what times?
if we're talking like maybe 1,000 years ago, all the way through like medieval times,
Okay.
you can make like gold plated stuff, and you can make an alloy of gold and silver that's called electrum. But
Oh, I
that's,
played enough Factorio, I fucking know.
but no, for like gold, actually it doesn't combine with anything, it doesn't corrode, it doesn't like degrade over time, it stays pure, and it's also very easy to forge, which made it great material to make coins or other currency.
Yeah.
So I think gold was the ideal currency back, like if you're talking about medieval or ancient times, for those reasons. It also was it was very difficult. There was really not much you could do to fake gold. It had certain properties that were extremely easy to test, even for common people.
Yeah. Well, that's why people used to like put them in their mouth, didn't they? Well, not put them in their mouth.
Yeah,
but,
they'd
do
bite
the
'em.
bend test.
Yeah.
Bite test.
And it's because gold was so pliable that they could do that.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking like, obviously that's my answer for the ancient world. But the modern world, what is the ideal currency? I mean, money changes hands so fast. Maybe Bitcoin is like, or some other sort of digital currency that's difficult to fake.
Yeah. I expect you to come up with a far more interesting idea, like fingers or something.
Fingers. Well, I mean, if you're talking about like, I'm personally a fan of like things that have the same properties as like gold or platinum or palladium. They're rare. They're easily recognizable. They're not corrosive or not corrodable, I should say.
Yeah.
And they're easily recognized. I don't know. I'm sorry. I have no interesting answer for you. The rings thing took it out of me. I think I know too many good currencies from the past that I'm like, oh, I can't think of anything better than that.
What about like?
If you're talking about like,
if the coins were made out of like quartz or something, that would be cool.
You know, I just talked about like digital currency.
Yeah.
That could be the new cash in the far future, because quartz is actually capable of holding far more data than like a hard drive or a flash drive or something like that.
That's not what I meant.
No, I know, but you gave me an idea.
Okay.
You gave me an idea, like so if you wanted like a physical version of a cryptocurrency or a digital currency, crystals encoded with certain like what am I trying to say? Encoded to be like that currency. Because you see like movies where people are like paying with credits, right? Like usually from animated movies and stuff from the mid 90s. Or even in the Star Wars universe, I guess they pay with credits. But that might be a way to physically transfer digital currency in like a secure manner. Because a quartz crystal, there's a lot of speculation that they could become the new method of like data storage. Crystals.
Yeah. So yeah, quartz memory sticks.
Yeah, there we go. And it's very progressive because the money will be pink.
What the fuck? I mean, quartz isn't always pink, is it?
It isn't, no. But a lot of quartz crystals, they're kind of a reddish hue, like a reddish white. But
maybe that's where value comes from, partially in it. The rarer colors.
Oh my god, I remember listening to a podcast a couple years back, and this guy was talking about this time he was at a museum, and he's looking at like they had like a geology exhibit.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of different quartz crystals, and he was talking about how this girl and her friend were in front of him, and she's just like, oh, I just love diamonds.
Right.
Referring to the quartz.
Oh.
And these are like quartz crystals that are probably the size of like a baseball. And it's like, if that was a diamond, it would be worth like billions. Like, what the fuck?
No, it wouldn't be that much.
Not billions, but millions. I meant to say millions. Yeah. But I don't know. It's. I'm sorry. I'm not nearly.
You know, there's a planet out there made of diamonds.
Oh, there probably is.
No, they found one.
I'm sorry. NASA is. I think NASA needs to defund its creative writing department.
Wow.
Because, like, this is
Do you
one
think
of
Neil Armstrong was only in California?
No. I'm not a conspiracy theory nut with like the whole moon landing was fake thing.
Okay.
One of my favorite memes was like, you know, the big brain memes where it's like, you know, small brain, big brain, galaxy brain. It starts off, and the first one is like, you know, the moon landing was real, and that's the smallest one. The next one, the moon landing was faked in New Mexico. And then the next one, the next one is like the moon landing was faked in New Mexico. And then the last one is the moon landing was faked on the moon. And I don't know, it made me laugh. But no, not that. I just think that I guess they have to keep the public interested, but it just feels like they're making shit up half the time. It's like, how do you the planet's like 1 billion fucking miles away, and you can't even tell us how many planets are in our own fucking solar system.
What do you mean? Yeah, they can. Oh,
Like-
well, you talk about Pluto.
Well, not only Pluto, but they've just found like 5 other exoplanets out in the Kuiper belt. They're now like reclassifying dwarf planets from the asteroid belt. They don't even know how many planets are here. There's speculation that there might be a sun orbiting our sun, like billions of or millions of miles away.
Yeah.
So, I know.
Yeah. So the
I know
sorry.
the science behind it. They look at the atmosphere of a planet and the light reflecting off of it from its own star. They measure like the blink of the star, like how the light like fades and comes back up, and that's how they make determinations as to what the composition of the planet is and its size.
Yeah. So it's 40 light years away,
Yeah.
and it is worth $26.9 nonillion. Didn't know nonillion was a thing, but
Oh yeah.
that's
There's tons.
26.9 plus 30 zeros.
Yeah. Nonillion isn't even the biggest one because after that comes what is it? Dectillion, and then I don't remember the one for 11, but then after that comes I think Dectillion might actually be 12. Anyway.
384 quadrillion times as much as planet Earth's gross daily GDP, gross daily profit.
Gross domestic product.
Oh,
So
according to Forbes.
that's great, except they're not taking into account that the moment all that diamond hits the market, it drops
It's
in
gonna
value.
drop through the floor. Yep. Getting
Diamonds
more
are
common than dirt.
diamonds are a commodity that's kept pretty artificially high in cost. Like there are actually quite a few diamonds that are held in reserve to maintain the value of diamonds.
Imagine all that cutting power, though.
I know. Well, and that's the other thing. You can just make a fake diamond.
Can you?
Yeah. They've been
Define
able
a fake diamond.
a diamond that is it's an actual perfect flawless diamond that is created in a laboratory. It's how they make like diamond edge drills and stuff like that. It's very easy to create. Well, not very easy, but it's
I
become
was gonna say, yeah, great. Fuck podcast. Let's go make diamonds.
well, that's the thing. They're not very valuable, and they're very easy to determine as fake. And the
Right.
reason is because the diamonds made in laboratories are perfect. They have no flaws. So, when you see like the stereotypical jeweler with the little eyeglass thing looking at the diamond,
Yeah.
that's because he's looking for the flaws in the diamond. So if a
Can't
diamond...
they input the flaws?
I mean, I imagine there's some things stopping them from doing that. I don't know what. I don't know like all the nuances on how they're determined, like how they're created, or if there's a fake market, or if there's laws against them doing it. But
Yeah.
I know that at least is the concept that I've heard. You can make them because a diamond is just hyper compressed carbon.
Right.
So they can make artificial diamonds in labs, and I can't remember what they're called. There's a name for them. I think it starts with a Z or something. Oh,
Do you want to
whatever.
waffle while I look it up?
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so I feel like I'm not being creative at all. You came up with this topic, and I feel like I should be able. I'm just giving history references. I basically just feel like talking about history this morning. That's what it's coming down to.
Yeah.
Which is why I thought of the topic that I did.
You think it starts with a Z? Oh, zirconia.
Zirconium. Yeah.
Cubic zirconia.
Yeah. So it's basically just it's an artificial diamond. You can buy like diamond rings with cubic zirconium. What?
There's hang on, I just gotta show you because it's.
All right,
Oh,
for
cool.
the benefit of everyone
Yeah,
who's
sorry, everyone
listening.
else.
Oh my god, that's so adorable.
Right.
All right, so it's a silver banded ring with, I'm assuming, a cubic zirconia diamond in the top of the ring. And then there's like a little dragon, like from How I Trained Your Dragon or whatever it's called, or
It's Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon.
yeah, and he's hugging the diamond on the top of the ring. That is adorable.
Yeah. No, Alicia, you can't have one.
Cubic zirconias would probably be cheaper. They're
Yeah, I mean,
they're
this one's what, £99?
yeah. Well, that's the thing. They when I said they can be made easily, I should have said that these days they can be made cheaply.
Yeah.
Like you need specialized equipment and stuff to do it, but it's just carbon, basically just coal, and then you just crush it down and create the diamond. So they can be made quite cheap. Oh, that one's cool.
Right?
It's like a dragon claw ring or something, or like a bird
Yeah.
claw
With hidden
talons.
gemstone.
Huh?
Sorry, I'm getting totally.
Yeah, you know what? Well, I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh my
man.
god, that looks so cool.
All right. Do you? Let
Sorry,
me.
I'm very distracted now.
It's fine. I am going to try to think of one genuinely. I
Okay.
trying to try to think of like one genuinely creative solution for currency
Okay.
before we actually end this, and I'm going to fail miserably.
No, no.
See, I'm of the thought that like post-apocalypse. Try to think about like what would actually. There's that old
Yeah.
like tired metaphor that like, oh, if you had $1 million and you were on a desert island, it would be worthless.
Yeah.
And people try to trot that out as a reason that money is worthless, but it isn't. Like that money still has value. It just doesn't have value in that circumstance.
Hmm.
So I
If
think
you've
that
got to start a fire, then
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I think tools would be an interesting form of currency.
Wait, you're trying to sell me now?
Yeah, exactly. Get out of here, tool bag. No, but like, so I had it on the podcast one time when one of the quiz segments. That axe I have, it's a hatchet, hammer, like all these different things. I
Yeah.
think, like, I've always liked the idea of a post-apocalypse economy where you've got like everything that's traded in theory should have. Fallout's a weird exception to this, but things that are traded should have like practical value. So,
Yeah.
like, have you ever seen
A
the
trading
movie?
system as opposed to a.
Yeah, have you seen the movie Book of Eli?
No.
Oh, that's a pretty good one. But there's a scene in it where Denzel Washington, the main character, he's trying to buy a recharge for an electronic device he has and something else. I think some water. And for that, he trades like a kind of a sturdy cloth napkin and some pre-packaged like moist wipes from a restaurant that he has. And those are considered like real. Those are the things the shop owner really wants, like the moist wipes, because everyone is like really dirty. Like water is a commodity, so people aren't washing the same way they used to. Presumably, like river water and stuff like that is contaminated,
I got you, yeah.
and so like that's always been something that fascinated me. So I think like trying to think of a currency as something that has practical value as being like the greatest commodity. So like in that case, the moist wipes, but it's something that is practical, but at the same time finite. Like you can trade it back and forth, but the moment you use it, it's gone.
Yeah.
You've consumed all of that value. So the very thing that's making it valuable makes it so it's never used.
I mean, it's the same thing, like, why you never really want to use guns too much in Fallout is because you're basically pissing your money away every time you fire a bullet. Which you
Yeah.
are doing anyway, because you have to buy the bullet, or steal one, I suppose. But you do feel a more of a sense of I'm literally losing money every time I fire a bullet.
Yeah, that's not Fallout though. What game is that?
Fallout, yeah. Oh
No.
no, that's caps, isn't it?
Yeah, but Fallout they use
thinking
bottle
of,
caps.
What is it? God, the Russian one, Metro.
Yeah, Metro Exodus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they use bullets as currency, and I think that's a, I mean, it's a good idea, but it's the same concept. You're right. You're trading in something because it has practical value, but by using that practical value, you are essentially exactly like you said, pissing away money.
Yeah.
It's
I
remind-
suppose it saves on carrying around a big fucking wallet of cash.
Yeah, that just reminded me of something. Oh, I just lost it. It was something we were just talking about with like the whole post-apocalypse like practical use things. Oh well. If I think of it later, I'll say it.
Oh
Um,
dear.
I think we've kind of exhausted this topic though, and we are coming up on the end of the segment.
Ooh,
Any final?
dice! That'd be a great thing to trade. Sorry.
I mean, dice. You can gamble for it and lose
Because
it.
there's. Exactly! Oh my god.
You can
'Cause
gamble
there's some
with your
pretty.
money. You could
Uh,
literally gamble with your money.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, you
All
just
right.
throw
Any final
dice, and
thoughts
then if they
before
win, they just take your dice.
before we close it out?
Uh, don't gamble, kids. And there are some really cool rings out there.
I like that last one you sent. It's
Yeah.
really cool. But no, that first one just with the had the toothless dragon. That was adorable.
Mm.
All right. Yeah. Okay. This is going to be the end of segment 1 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and you will hear us again momentarily. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on segment 2, our media segment, and we had a classic movie for movie night this week. Classic
We did.
horror. So your pick?
Is it horror?
It. I think it is.
Yes, it is horror. Yes.
It is. It is kind of horror.
So, yes, it was my choice this week, and as I said in the last podcast, it was Alien, the first Alien, with featuring Sigourney Weaver and a carrot.
What?
That was it.
Oh.
I seen it only a few times in the past, and I don't know. I think I prefer the second one, which is why I'm going to at some point get Kaiser and Alicia to watch that.
Well, and as stated previously, I had never seen it. Although I'd kind of been aware of bits of it from a cultural perspective because parodies of it had shown up.
Yeah. It was no shock what the alien looked like or anything.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I've played the game Alien Isolation before, which I found to be like I normally don't go for horror games. I don't like being jump scared, and normal like psychological horror really doesn't get to me. And body horror just kind of
Yeah, I don't like it.
yeah. But that aside, this movie I think this is my kind of a horror movie. Like there's a bit of like gore and stuff like that, and it's kind of cheesy because it was from the 70s, but the actual like most of the horror in the movie is like it's got this I noticed throughout most of the movie there really wasn't music. Like it was mostly just, especially in the first like half hour 45 minutes, it was just people. It felt like a normal scene, like just people sitting around eating a meal, drinking a beer. And
I feel like a lot of them were like set up to be like something could kill them right now, but it turns out they were just like doing something
exactly
really boring and regular.
And that's what I found like really good because they build up this tension because it feels so normal, but you know something's coming.
Yeah.
And I think that so when the alien finally did show up, like you were primed to go like, oh god, no.
Yeah. I mean the part that probably the most what the fuck you doing part for me was the when he goes down, he's like fucking poking the eggs and sticking his face near them. I was like, oh god, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Like, even with no prior knowledge of Alien whatsoever, who the fuck puts their face near like
I don't.
an alien organic egg?
I do not know. Like there are plenty of horror movies where that is my line. Just what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
So I will say that from this point on, this is again an older movie. We're just gonna spoil the shit out of everything.
Yeah.
Premise, and tell me if I miss anything. Like it's essentially far future, and we're following a group of what are essentially space truckers. Like they they're
And
on like a
miners.
long haul bringing cargo back from some other system. They don't really go into too much detail about that because that's not as important. But they
No.
go into like some sort of a cryogenic sleep for the most of the trip because it's implied that it takes a few years to get from solar system to solar system. And they're all looking to get back. The one guy's always talking about like I'm just gonna I'm gonna party when I get back. And they stop along the way because a signal is detected, and their company protocol is like if there's anything that could be intelligent life out there, you're supposed to stop and check it out. And so they do, and one dumbass, like Blue said, sticks his face next to an egg and gets alien sucker stuck to his face. They bring him back on board and try to take it off him, and it doesn't go so well. And then I'm trying to think what happens after that. Oh yeah, eventually it does come off him on his own, and they just let him out of the medical ward because fuck it. And he goes to eat, and then dies a brutal and violent death as an alien baby spawns from his chest.
But, and this might answer that question, Kaiser.
Mm.
Bear in mind the medical officer was
Mm.
in fact wanting the alien.
That's true. So this is a big twist at the end of the movie. So again, spoilers. The medical officer is actually an android that is from the company, and the company has sent the android there to essentially ensure that they bring this thing back because they want to use it for like their weapons division or something like that. And
Which doesn't make that's the kind of the weakest point in the story, in my opinion, because I would send an entirely separate team that were properly
equipped, yeah,
kitted out. Yeah, as opposed to, I mean, imagine the fucking loss they lost from
yeah, all that,
just all the ore.
yeah, that they would now have to wait years for. I do think it's a very weak justification for it, and I think again it's one of those things where it's in the background because that's not the point of the movie, and that's not the good things about the movie. Though talking about dumbass decisions, one thing that I remember you complaining about after we watched it was the one. So the cast of characters, I think there's like 8 of them. There's like the captain, there's the medical officer, there's the 3 guys that work down in the lower area, the
2 mechanics, yeah.
Oh, there's only 2 of them, okay. And then there's the 2 female characters, Sigourney Weaver being the science, Ripley being the science officer, or one of the science officers, and the other woman, I can't remember what her role is.
I think she's the pilot.
Okay, she was the pilot. Her, like, of the 2 characters, or of the characters in the story, I think 3 of them were very memorable for me. Sigourney Weaver, the Ripley, the black mechanic,
The large
dude.
mechanic. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the other woman, and not for a good reason.
No.
Like the black mechanic was a badass throughout most of the movie. Like that guy was, and also I just found him
he's
funny.
pretty annoying.
He was annoying early on, but like when shit started getting real, like he became
He redeemed himself.
Exactly. That's I think why I warmed to him. You're right. In the early stages of the movie, he was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this shit. I just want to go home and party." And it's like, "Oh, fuck this. This isn't our job." It's like, "Oh, we need to be paid a little bit more." And he was just bitching throughout most of the early part. Although he ended up being right about not stopping at the planet. And then,
well, yeah.
but at the end, you're right. He's the one who's like, kind of, he doesn't like take charge, but he's the one that's like, put me out in front. I'll take care of this thing. I'm gonna kill this thing.
Yeah. He makes the flamethrower.
Exactly. There's a Anyway, I'll tell that story later. But and then Ripley, obviously, because she's the main character, and she's the one who, like, despite all the crazy shit that's happening and nearly getting killed by the android, she's the one that perseveres and takes charge.
Yeah.
Of the
Although
situation.
Sorry, I'll let you finish your
The
thought.
last bit, and this is what I was. This is all getting back to is the other female character is such a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
Like she was, I get it. She was panicky and like, oh god, what's going wrong? But the thing that was pissing you off and it annoyed me too in the movie is she is cornered by the alien, and she goes into shock. She panics and starts screaming. Perfectly understandable. The black guy comes in with the flamethrower and is distracting the alien and pissing it off. She has the opportunity to run. She doesn't. He's shouting at her, hey, run, run, run. She doesn't run. She just sits there. Then she's looking around like she realizes like she's no longer in shock. She could get out of there. And the black guy gets in front of the alien and distracts it more, and she still doesn't do shit and just waits for the alien to kill her. Sorry, rant's over.
I was gonna say, if you didn't know that Ripley was the main character, I think she comes off. She comes over certainly in the early part of the film as very cold and very
Disconnected.
the word I was going to use was managerial, but I'm sure there's a lot of nice managers out there, so I apologise. But she's very by the book protocol, and it does make her come over as a bit of a douche.
It does, but
then they have to have progression in some way. Yeah, she always prioritizes the greater good.
I think this is. I thought you were actually going to go in a different direction with that. Like, if I didn't know she was the main character to start with, I wouldn't have realized it until near the end of the movie. Because I think they do a very good job of making her kind of just part of the crew.
Not overpowered.
To bring it back to a discussion we had on an earlier podcast, I think this is the reason that a lot of people hold her up as a shining example of a strong female protagonist. Because she's just like a normal woman. Like she's exceptional because she's a science officer and she's on this spaceship, right? But they almost make it look like this is a routine thing. It's just like a normal job, like she's a space trucker. But she
they're not wearing fancy clothes or anything, and they're doing. She goes down and helps out with the mechanics at one point briefly.
Over the course of the movie, though, like she grows and becomes like this badass. Like she is hardened by the events that happen in the movie, and because in the early stages, I mean, she's the one who wants to do her duty, you know, leave the alien outside, don't bring it in here, and she gets overruled, and she kind of just begrudgingly accepts the fact that she was overruled. But then, as you know, shit starts to get like worse and worse. She takes charge, especially after the captain dies. And then in the very end, she's the one that finally, you know, figures out a way to kill off the alien. Granted, she's the only one left, her and the cat.
I don't think the alien died. I think it can survive in outer space.
Well, I think that's the thing. They talk about that in the early stages, how it has like these specialized cells that essentially allow it to live in vacuum.
Adapt.
Yeah. Maybe it doesn't die, but it certainly is very close.
It's less
to
drifting in space, yes. There's not much it can do. You'll see. Well, if we ever get to the second one, the caliber of its. So the first one's more about like it's like a horror movie. It's a hunt basically for the alien. The second one is more like, all right, the humans are ready. Well, not ready for it, but they're equipped, and equally the alien has its own like weaponry and stuff, and it's more like a war as opposed to an assassination.
Yeah.
So you see a lot more of its defensive capabilities, its strategies. Obviously, you know, when they're trying to get the face hugger off the guy, they cut it and it had like acid blood.
Yeah.
They do quite a ingenious thing with that in the second one. Which,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm trying not to say anything too.
I'm just thinking back, like watch it, like as you're going over it in my head, and I'm thinking back to some of the scenes. One of the I think most poignant scenes for me was when Ripley like discovers the secret orders and why they're there to grab the alien, and it's like, the crew's death is this crew is essentially superficial.
Yeah.
And then that's when the android shows up, and she and there's that scene where he's essentially trying to kill her, and like she's trying to get away, and it like, because you're used to the alien, it's always unseen, it's kind of off screen, and suddenly you have this very immediate visible threat, and I just found that scene very poignant, and very brutal, like,
Yeah,
but
especially because
brutal,
of the betrayal.
yeah, brutal in a, not in a like violent and gory way, but brutal in a psychological sense.
Right. Yeah, and oh man, the CGI, well, not the CGI, the prop head, and then it switches to the real head, and it looks so different. Granted,
Yeah.
they were,
But-
had a budget, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got a spaceship with all these old CRT monitors and stuff, and
Yeah.
but I mean, it was the 1970s. You gotta forgive a few things because of the technology of the age.
Absolutely. And, I remember watching quite a while back a YouTube video on, you get these YouTube videos on, like, ooh, who would win in a fight between Doom Guy and
Yeah.
Space Marine, right?
Yeah.
So there was one which was a Imperial battle cruiser from Star Wars
Yeah.
versus a single infected stormtrooper with the alien face, like
The alien inside it. Interesting.
which I think the resolution was if they didn't kill it before it grew into a full alien, then it would absolutely just destroy absolutely everyone on the ship. Even though these things are flipping huge ships, and they're but if they're able to shoot it like even a couple of times, because the blasters are like it's heat related,
Yeah.
so it would cauterize the wounds. The acid wouldn't trip through the ship, and it wouldn't destroy the ship. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I'm just thinking about the scenario in my own head now. I'm going through like how I would see it going down.
I think the scenario included having Darth Vader on the ship.
Well, that's easy. He just crushes the damn thing.
Well, he can't crush. Like, okay, in Alien Isolation there was only one alien, but they can breed into a lot of aliens.
Yeah.
And God knows, what a stormtrooper's aim is like.
That was so. To go on a slight tangent about that, the whole meme about the stormtroopers missing everything. That was something I kind of liked about the side movie Rogue One. In that movie, they actually managed to do a good job of making the stormtroopers seem like a legitimate threat. Like they're actually intimidating soldiers rather than just goofball things for the heroes to slaughter by the thousands.
It does annoy me seeing how wait, this is the media segment, isn't it?
It is the
Cool.
media segment.
I've been watching Sons of Anarchy, and in one of the scenes in particular, don't get me wrong, it happens in a lot of the scenes, but one particularly stands out for me. There was like, I can't remember how many guys, multiple guys with automatic weapons, standing in the middle of the road, whilst people on motorbikes ride towards them, stop, get off their motorbikes, and return fire with pistols, and none of the people on motorbikes get hit.
Which is
From,
retarded, because you can...
20 meters away.
That's pistol
Yeah.
range, but the rifles would have been able to hit them like miles back on the road, especially if they're stationary.
Yeah, multiple people. Like, they have all the time in the world. They had to ride up, stop the bikes. Like, they even put the bikes on their fucking stand. They didn't just, drop the bike or anything.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not a great shot, but from 20 meters with a rifle, I could, yeah. I'd be able to hit somebody.
It freaking winds me up. Cause, yeah, it's just, absolutely you can do it where, like, oh, no one gets shot. But then give them some reason not to get shot. Like, oh, there's a lot of cover, or
Yeah, they're
in the middle of a road.
They're undercover, or like, something's wrong with one of their guns, like somebody sabotaged. You Yeah, that's just lazy writing.
Yeah.
And
Whereas,
so
sorry.
that's something that annoyed me near the end. So I finished. There are two things that I finished this week. So I finished the second season of The Mandalorian,
Yeah.
which still really liked it, but it was very formulaic. Most of the episodes struck me as like a side quest in a video game.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh no, this thing happened. Now you have to go here and get this item, and now go here and talk to this person. Now go here and get this item, and now you can turn the quest in. Like that's what it felt like.
Right.
Granted, I still like the overarching story, and it had at the very end. This is a massive spoiler, but at the very end of the series, it had a cameo from a classic Star Wars character.
Right.
Specifically, they brought back Luke Skywalker.
Right.
Like he pulls a Deus Ex Machina in the end of the movie, and saves the main protagonists, and they used like the whole deep fake technology to de-age his face.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask whether this is like old Luke or young
No,
Luke.
it's young Luke.
And you?
Which this has caused a bit of a controversy. I found out after I watched it, because Mark Hamill, the guy who plays Luke Skywalker, and he also does the voice of the Joker from Batman. Strangely enough, which is crazy because I can't imagine that. But he came out on Twitter, of course, that wretched hive of scum and villainy, to openly.
Go and see our page now.
There's a bingo card up there now, a professionally
There
done
is.
one. Based again on the fan art. He went on Twitter and he thanked like the director for giving him the opportunity to bring back old Luke, or not to bring back, but to. He said it's something like it was an honor to to play Luke again back, and bring him back to the era where he was still a symbol of hope or something like that. And
Right.
it's kind of a little bit of a jab at the directors in the last two, or specifically the second sequel movie, The Last Jedi, which basically turned Luke into a grumpy old man who'd failed at everything.
Yeah.
And I think that, yeah, it probably Mark Hamill's been he's probably contractually obliged not to say anything too negative, but in interviews and stuff, it's slipped out that he's just not happy with how they treated his classic character.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough.
But I won't go into too much. But the series continued to be very good. But the reason I brought it up is because, again, they have like dozens and dozens of stormtroopers dying by the dozens, and none of the main characters ever get shot.
No, I mean you can kind of get away with it with characters that have the Force, because obviously they literally can dodge.
Yeah, but these
bullets.
are just normal people.
Oh, okay, then yeah. No. Definitely.
You're right. It makes sense when Luke shows up and is starting to do stuff, because he's got a lightsaber. He can bounce the stuff back. He can crush people with the Force and stuff. But the main characters are they're mercenaries, and it makes sense that maybe they'd be able to dodge, or they have like special armor that protects them or something. But half the time, the stormtroopers don't even hit anywhere in their postcode, and there's like hundreds of them shooting at them. It's like,
Yeah.
do you guys get any training at all?
Oh man, I was watching a Twitch streamer the other day playing The Sims Star Wars DLC.
Oh god, yeah.
It made me angry. Because it was like, okay, so you can decide whether you want to be part of the Rebels or the First Alliance.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? The
First
First
Order.
Alliance?
First Order.
First Order. Fuck me, it's a dumb name. And they give you things so out of order, right? So he was walking around in First Order officer clothing, right? But he was excited to try to be promoted enough to be a stormtrooper.
What?
And like, I was really confused. I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And before he even got to be a stormtrooper, right?
He's,
Before that, he got a red lightsaber.
I can't even describe to you how many brain cells I just lost from listening to that.
Right? And he was excited to get a blaster. Like, I was losing my shit. I mean, obviously I wasn't on the stream, so it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but in the comments, everyone was like, hey, let's get some really cool Stormtrooper armor and stuff, and I'm just in the comments like, cruel stupid. No, I didn't say that.
Oh my god. That
I felt like a massive nerd because I was defending, like, the original Star Wars canon against these people. It was just there for a good time. I mean, it's Sims, it doesn't matter.
but yeah.
But it did to me.
Well, I think so. I want to talk about The Expanse because I also watched that this week, and that's the one that I really have. I'm literally excited. I haven't been excited to watch a TV show in a long time, but The
Yeah?
Expanse is so good that I'm like literally. I've still got 3 seasons ahead of me, and I'm just really hyped up to watch them and see how they
Nice.
play out. But I do have to say this real quick. I've if you saw like the sort of YouTube channels and stuff that I'm subscribed to, it's all like very dry, nerdy shit, like history channels, psychology, sociology, a couple.
You follow sociology?
Yeah, sociology.
Yeah, I'm surprised, that's all. I would have thought it'd be one of those things that you call not a subject.
Well, no, sociology is an actual science, unlike social science, ironically.
Oh, I thought that was basically...
There's
Am I getting an astronomy, astrology thing?
yeah,
mixed up,
it's an
kinda?
astrology astronomy sort of thing.
Okay.
No, but sociology is basically just the study of like people and how they interact, and like it's sort of a,
right.
as I understand it, I'm not a professional.
What's social studies, then?
Well, in the U.S., social studies usually means history. It's
Oh.
Social studies is the class we have in our schools where you study history.
I would say sociology is more bollocks than history.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
it is. Well, okay, that's true. But to be fair, since history is subjective, it's always written by whoever won and got to write the books. So history is always mainstream history.
Mostly, yeah.
When I'm talking about the history that's taught to grade schoolers, it's very, very biased. Which it's sort of like one of the spoils of victory, that you get to write the history books. But if you read like hard history, the type of like analytical ones that go back to source material and try to look at things through a sort of an unbiased lens, that's where you start to get into some, what really happened. I'm going to waffle on this. The whole reason I brought this up was one of the YouTube channels I follow is this a woman. She's a PhD, and I can't remember what it is, but it's a field of sociology.
Okay.
And she'll go through studies on like these hour-long videos and do analysis to try and figure out what exactly, like to draw some conclusions about some sort of an issue. And one of the things she did was a video on why people get so emotional when they see something they're a fan of kind of tarnished or changed. So Star Wars being a perfect example, because they've sort of, the newer movies, specifically the second one and to a lesser extent the third one, pissed all over the legacy of the original movies. They turned Han Solo into a deadbeat dad. They turned Leia into Mary Poppins, and they turned Luke into a grumpy old man who failed at everything.
Yeah.
And I think that people like grow emotionally attached to characters because you see something on a screen, and from a psychological perspective, our brains aren't equipped to say that person isn't real. I don't actually know that person. And you sort of,
oh my god.
you sort of grow to think of that person as like a friend or a family member subconsciously, because
Because you get through the same struggles that they are, and you pity them or
exactly. Yeah. They did a study years back where they looked at the brain activity of monkeys, and they found that the same parts of the brain light up when the monkey is doing an activity as when he's watching someone do that activity. So our brains are actually hardwired to go through the same sort of chemical processes when we watch another person that we empathize with doing something as when we do it. It's a fascinating field. I'm going way off into the weeds here, but that long story was just to make that point that I've heard people do a similar analysis to try and find out why people have that sort of strong emotional reaction when they see something like a beloved character in their eyes tarnished.
Yeah, there was a scene that I was watching. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and literally when the scene started, I kind of went meta in my own brain. Right, I paused it and I was like, right, there's a very visceral scene, which, as you know, I don't like body horror.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I know that none of it's real. I know that no one's actually getting hurt. And then I tried to actively think of the characters in the show as not human.
Well, that's...
And I failed abysmally.
It's very, very difficult to turn something like that off. It's one of the reasons, to touch briefly on politics, why like Soviet era, well, Stalin era communism was so gruesome and horrifying, and why things happened in World War II Germany. It's because they were able to dehumanize
disconnect.
Like an other, like it was we are people and they are lesser than people, and they'd use words. That's where like the words like Stalin didn't have people killed and rounded up; he liquidated them.
Right.
And in his own like correspondence, that's how he refers to it. He's like, I need 50,000. What was it? 50,000 capitalists liquidated, or something like that. And never in that statement is he saying, I'm going to kill another human being. So it shows how you can. It's a way to what you were trying to do there. Remove yourself from empathizing with another human being. Okay. That's enough, science and psychology. I really want to talk about The Expanse, and we're already over 30 minutes.
Go for it.
So I talked a little bit about it, because as of last podcast, I had only watched the trailer, but now I've watched the entire first season and a half. Like, I could not stop watching this. I think I had... so we did the podcast on Saturday.
How long was the first season?
10 or 12 episodes. Each
okay,
episode
they're
being...
about 40 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, they're about 45 minutes long.
Okay.
So as of last podcast, I talked about it on the podcast, the trailer. That was Saturday. Sunday, no one heard from me because I literally spent the entire day watching The Expanse. I watched it from the moment I got up until... In the evening, I think I got on and played like a game with Scott and some people, but... the rest of the day I just spent watching The Expanse.
Jeez.
It was so good. So the premise, as a refresher from last podcast, is 23rd century solar system. Humanity has basically colonized the whole solar system, but they haven't moved out beyond yet, but they're starting to think about it. Mars and Earth are the two like new superpowers. Earth is united under the UN, a horror story for me, and Mars has its own government. They're like the MCRN it's the Mars Colonial Republic, MCR. That's what it is.
Right. Isn't that something in Fallout New Vegas?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I think that it might be the like the Minutemen or something. No, NCR.
Anyway.
No, NCR. You're thinking
NCR.
NCR. It's the New California Republic in Fallout.
That's the one.
So Mars is basically a military superpower. Earth is kind of an aging giant that's in decline. And then there's tons and tons of like tiny little outposts out throughout the asteroid belt and the Kuiper belt and around Saturn and Jupiter.
Yeah.
And the show, from the trailer, it seemed like they were going to do this. From the episodes I've watched, they did an amazing job portraying like realistic sci-fi. Meaning like I could picture in the 23rd century human civilization being like this. Like they, acceleration will hurt people if the, micro asteroids combat in space. The big concern is bullets penetrating the ship and then penetrating the person and then going through them, and now you've got a puncture in your suit. If they make a hard banking maneuver to get out of the line of fire of another ship, then that could seriously harm people if they aren't strapped in properly. And then, of course, like water being like more precious than gold on like asteroids and stuff because, and they do a really good job portraying the politics too, where Earth is kind of they've got this aloof position because they've got all this land and air and water and resources, whereas on the asteroids they're having to scrounge for all of that. And then on Mars, they live in domed cities. They wanted to terraform the planet because of a near military conflict with Earth that kind of set them into a Cold War. They had to put that off and invest in their navy. And now Mars is like a military superpower, but they still haven't finished terraforming their planet.
Yeah.
And there's this. Sorry.
No. I was waiting for you to finish.
There's this lingering animosity between Mars and Earth, and under their noses, sort of a ground-swelling movement from the asteroid belt for their own independence starts to rise. And it's just the politics in it are really cool. The characters are extremely well written. The show does a good job of never making you feel like there's a good guy or a bad guy. Like every one of the characters is well written and nuanced, and they have their good sides and their bad sides. They make mistakes, they do things right. Some of them are selfish, some of them are altruistic, and every character feels very human. That's it. That's a rant. Absolutely love the show.
It does sound very interesting, and there are two things which it made me think of. One of which I think partially, possibly one of the reasons you like it so much is it sounds a lot like the early days of Halo.
What, like the hard sci-fi and stuff
like when they're just starting to leave Earth and there's basically a business war between Earth and Mars.
Yeah, except in the Halo franchise, it's 2 centuries later, and humanity's colonized quite a few planets. But you're right.
Right, is that where it starts? Okay.
Before the Covenant show up in Halo, you're right. The political situation is similar. You've got
It sounds like an origin story.
You've got core worlds that are very Earth-like, and then you've got the outer worlds that are very Mars-like, and the very, very outer worlds that are very much like the belt in this show. So actually, that's not a bad metaphor, or not a bad comparison.
And the other thing that it made me think about, and I'm sorry to sound like an old broken record, but this does also very much remind me of that book series that I keep telling you to read.
Oh, the Mars one. The what is it called? Red Rising.
Red Rising. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got the audiobook actually. It's downloaded on my phone.
Oh damn.
Man,
maybe I'm making progress with you.
Well, I downloaded it when you told me to. I just have other books in my queue that come before it.
Yeah, lots of Space Marine books. Particularly where you're saying like the space battles when the bullets have to go through the hull then the person.
Yeah.
There's particularly in the second book onwards.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of ship-to-ship combat, and one of the modes it was remind me of one of the particular ways in which the ships fight, which is they basically fire people at the side of a ship.
Yeah,
in these like high-powered suits, and they just smash through the hull, and then they start walking around inside the ship and blowing people up from the inside.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it is anything similar like that, I would love to see it, because obviously I've only been able to listen to it so far. So if it keeps going really well and you keep recommending it, and maybe like into season 2 or 3, it's still good, and I'll absolutely give it a watch myself.
there's there's a yeah, I so season 2 so far has just picked up where season 1 left off and just been awesome. So at least so far they've managed to maintain the momentum.
Yeah,
And
they haven't
it's
fallen into the drama trap of relationships and shit.
there are, but they're not the primary focus. Like
Okay,
they do an amazing job of striking a balance. There's a
yeah,
balance between showing you cool sci-fi shit, going into the politics of this fictional like world where Earth and Mars are essentially in a cold war,
mm,
and then going into character drama and you developing the characters, showing how they interact, and but it's not like soap opera tier drama, to use a quote that you had from last week. It's like it's not like, oh, I can't believe Brad's sleeping with Cindy.
yeah,
Like it's not like that. There are like there's a relationship that develops, and I won't go into too much detail, but two main characters. It, essentially, this male and female character that have been butting heads since the beginning of the series. They eventually end up kind of finding a mutual respect for each other, and then that develops into a romance. But they have conflicted loyalties because he lives in the belt, the asteroid belt, but he's from Earth. She's grown up in the belt, and so she finds herself in like this conflicted loyalty where she makes a decision behind his back that could screw over all of humanity because she thinks it might give her people, the natives of the asteroid belt, a leg up in any sort of political negotiations moving forward.
right.
Um, and that happens in season 2. So it's a bit of a spoiler, but I mean you kind of see it coming when it happens in the show.
I see.
I do
Yeah,
want to give a shout out to this one character in it because we were talking about dehumanization and like empathy.
hmm
He's like this cold-hearted dude, but there's clearly he's not like a sociopath. At first, he seems like he's one, but over the course of the show, they like for example, there's a scene where this guy is threatening one of the crew members, and um, they're like, "No, we gotta wait," and he's like, "No, we need to get out of here right now." And eventually pulls the gun. He's like, "If you don't get out of here right now, I'm gonna shoot you in the head." And without hesitation, this other guy shoots him in the back of the head.
right. Out of left wing. Yeah,
Yeah, and then like the blood splatters on the person that the guy was threatening, and it pans over to this guy, and he's just perfectly calm and placid, and he's like, "All right, you say we wait, we wait. I'm gonna take this outside." And when he says this, he's talking about the body of the guy he just shot.
right.
And so, but then like as the series goes on, you start to realize that there is a lot of nuance to this character. He's deeply traumatized, meaning he's become this cold and callous for a reason. So they don't. It's one of the things I love about the show, and this is the last thing I'll say because I am looking at the time. Um, they don't fall into the trap of using stereotypical characters. There's
Yeah.
no, there's
There's
no
new
like,
ideas.
there's no like, this is the jock, this is the sociopath, this is the scientist. They're all very nuanced, and I'm just basically just splooging over the the character and the writing. The writing in this show is just I can't tell if it's just amazing or if I'm just so starved for good like TV to watch. Because
Yeah.
the most of the TV and movies that have come out in recent years have just been garbage. Or maybe it's just there's always garbage in every era, and looking back, I only remember the good stuff. Anyway, I won't go on about that too long. Um, any final thoughts before I close this out?
No, I think we better. I hope everyone is ready for part three.
Yes,
Uh,
so we're looking. It's a quiz segment. It's our half-year quiz segment. Blue is quizzing me again, so you'll get to see my lovely face on camera. Um,
ooh. Have you got a
and
hat?
I don't have it. I don't like wearing. I could wear a
Okay.
beanie. I have a beanie.
All right. You have to wear it over your headset.
All right, that's fine. I'll do that, but only for the beginning, and my head will get hot. All right, fuck it. That's the end of the segment. Thank you all for listening. This has been segment 2, our media segment of the TMCJ podcast. Listen for a little bit longer, and you will get to hear a fun little quiz that I know nothing about. There is no theme this time, so who knows? But yeah, thank you for listening, and hopefully you'll tune in again soon. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on segment 3, and as you can tell by the fact that my lovely countenance is on the screen, it's another quiz segment. This time it is my turn to be quizzed. Last time I actually quizzed Blue for the first time. I have no idea what the theme is. It's our half-year podcast, but it could be...
Well, yeah, that's kind of the theme.
Could be literally anything, and I'm literally terrified. As you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, as you can see, I've got my... vial of rice juice, which is
totally non-alcoholic rice juice. Yep, exactly. It's literally just rice he's drinking.
Exactly. I boiled some in the interim.
Boil them, fry them, stick them in a stew.
Okay, come on.
I don't think that's how it goes.
So what's going on? Did you have a theme for these questions? Or?
So yes, as is tradition, I varied very far from the theme. But anyway, bam! Okay. Welcome back to another monthly episode of It's That Quiz. I still don't have a name for it yet.
He's getting
today's host, Mr. B Bear, and the contestant, this jackass on your screen.
He's even got a name for himself now.
Mr. B Bear, yeah. Wait, that sounds like Bieber. Oh, that's bad.
Oh, Justin
Bieber.
I
ever said that. Right. Contestant. Yeah. How are you ready?
No, but let's do it anyway.
Okay, you have 1 minute for each question is the standard affair. Some of the questions this week are ones that people at home will probably not know, and I apologize for that. But because it's the half-year podcast quiz, they are going to be a little bit more personally based around myself and Kaiser. But for the most part, you can all have a good go at it. So good luck at home. If you're participating in the forfeit challenge, good luck. You don't do it at work. That's what I'm saying. Right, on to the first question.
All right, I'm ready.
I'll start the timer and then ask you the question. Okay?
Yep.
In the popular fishing novel Ravished by the Triceratops, how did the Triceratops break its horn?
Charged into a wall.
Bam! Easy one. Good start.
That's right. All right. Softballing me in.
Bam. Oof, fruity. Okay.
Talking about yourself or the drink?
Well, wouldn't you like to know? Okay, question 2. I actually got to ask this one then. Start the timer. If you have a D20, a D12, a D10, 2 D8s, a D6, and no D4s, how many sides do you have? Go.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. D20.
Do you want me to repeat?
No. I don't repeat it because that's cheating. This is a test of my memory and my math. I'm going to say you have 54.
54. Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Alright, I'm pausing. Okay, if you have a D20, D12, D10, 2 D8, a D6, and no D4s.
I forgot about the D10.
Yeah, you did. Answer 64.
God, I was off by I was so close!
Yeah, it was so close. Nice try, man. I mean, I would have repeated the question for you. You still had 25 seconds.
No, it's fine. No, it's
You went
questions
balls
are
to the
asked
wall,
once.
and that's fair.
I wanted to. It's a test of memory because if you repeated it, I would have just added them up in my head and I would have gotten it.
Yeah, it's like the Triceratops. You went dick first.
I'm, I'm, a, I'm a fucking engineer. I'd like to think I can do basic math.
Okay, yeah, that was quite impressive considering you can't even see it right now. Okay, next question.
I'm ready.
When did you start the Man Called Justice YouTube channel? I'll give you half a point for getting the year right, the full point for getting the month right, and a bonus point if you get the date right.
I'm not even sure I can get the year right. It was after I moved into this condo. I'm going to say 2016. It was either
Okay,
2015 or 2016.
All right.
I'm going to say I started it in January of 2016.
Okay, do you want to put a number to that as well?
Like the actual
A
exact
date? Yeah.
No, I don't even want to start to guess that. Maybe like the 13th.
Okay, 13th. Bam. Right, pause. Okay, so 13th of January 2016. Okay. The correct date is the 22nd of August 2011.
What the fuck was I uploading back then?
I don't know, but that's when the channel was created.
Oh shit. I was
5 years off. That was bad.
I definitely didn't start uploading until like I moved into here.
Hey,
Oh
nice.
god, 2011 I would have just gotten out of college. Because I graduated in May 2011.
Yeah. Okay.
From a strong start, he falters and falls into disarray.
He does. At least he knew about the Triceratops.
Hey, I remember the
Okay.
important things in life.
Well, of course.
I was close in the math. Come on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, you absolutely were. But then you fucked it. Okay, next question. What was the first quiz question I ever asked you?
These are mean.
Oh god, this is about half-year podcast. That's the theme.
Okay. It was the Halloween quiz. So I'm going to say it was that question about the origins of Halloween, like where it actually came from. The one that I answered that I thought it came from Ireland. It was a Celtic tradition.
Pausing the clock. So, you know how earlier I said I really watched that episode and I really enjoyed it. I was laughing my ass off. That is a question that is asked. It's not the first one.
What was the first one?
The first one was, when was trick-or-treating invented?
Oh, fuck. I knew it was
I'm going to give you half a point.
Alright. Half a sip.
Cheers. Sláinte, as the Irish would say. Cool. So, yeah, okay, you're 1.5 points. You're doing
1.5 points, but I've got 2.5 against me.
This is true. Okay. Here's one.
I'm taking the executive decision to refill this decanter because I feel like this is just going to get worse.
Okay. Here's one which there are people out there who you know who might be angry with you if you get this wrong.
Okay.
There's a specific person I'm thinking, but I don't know. Alright. And go. Ooh, I've lost the thing. In the D&D 5e Monster Manual, what challenge level is a regular mimic?
I have never put a mimic in my game.
Neither have I.
I'm not a... Alright.
Alright, piece it together though.
Well, a mimic isn't... It's something that can show up...
Because you know about mimics.
I do. They can show up in basically any dungeon. And they can be basically anything.
That's why I said a regular mimic. Like, we're talking just like a fucking box with teeth.
I know. So it's either going to be a quarter, a half, or one. I'm going to say a quarter.
Okay, pausing. In the D&D 5e Monster Manual, what challenge level is a regular mimic? Challenge level of 2.
What?
Yep.
Fuck, I thought they'd be on like... I thought they'd be on par with like a fucking goblin.
It's probably like inflated because you normally get to a chest after a fight, and so they're probably
So
like
you're already
wounded
going to
and
be
stuff.
weakened, so that explains the yeah. The
Yeah,
logic
and
makes
then
sense. I just suck.
surprise chest. Uh,
I don't I don't use mimics in my campaigns.
no, I don't. They're too expected. Although I did read recently that you can get like mimic doors and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Now, if I was
and
gonna
I
make a
told,
mimic, I'd make it like a coffee cup or something like that. Fuck this
yeah,
mimic looking like a
exactly.
chest.
I told my D&D group about it at the time, and they spent the whole session checking every door before they walked through it.
There's I may have mentioned this before, but years ago when I was playing in this other D&D campaign, I was playing in it.
Yeah,
Our DM had read like a Reddit article about finding ways to like throw your players off. Basically give them something that's just nothing, but it seems like it could be something so that
yeah,
they're
a
not
rock.
suspecting stuff later on when you actually throw them legitimate plot hooks.
Yeah,
It backfired. He put a smiling rock under a
yep.
tree in a grove. We spent 2 hours of real time investigating the rock.
So
Using spells on
obviously,
it, using magic, investigating it, searching the surrounding terrain, like doing history, researching it. It was a
so
full
I've also obviously heard this story before, right?
yeah.
I put it into my own campaign.
What, the smiling rock? Yeah.
Yes, I did. I put the Spider Rock in, and they brushed past it in about 3 minutes. They
Something
picked it
that
up, put it in their bag, and kept walking.
something that's a bane of the DM's. Like, so again, mentioned it earlier. I went to an engineering college, and Jesse, he's our DM now, and we make his life hell because he's talking about. He was trying to give us a hint as to where a door was by telling us the direction fogs were going, which
Right.
resulted in a half-hour discussion about aerodynamics.
Yeah, that sounds.
He just there are some times where I can just picture him in the background, like just he's got his notepad, yep, and he's just sketching all of us dying in horrendous ways. But
Oh
it's
man,
it's all in good fun.
you
Anyway,
guys, I would not want to be part of your game because it sounds just from what I get from you and Jesse is that it is an absolute battle between the DM and the players.
yeah, well, it is. So we've got five main players now.
Yeah.
One that wants to have fun, one that is kind of really hardcore playing their character, one that is like a rules negotiator, and then two people. Well, one who's like a seasoned DM, and so he knows the rules better than the current DM. And then there's me, who's always like questioning the science of what he's doing and going like, "That's not how that will work. No, forces don't work like that."
So Jesse was showing me one of his methods of keeping notes the other day, and so he was like showing me a screen. He was typing in notes and stuff, and he pulled a character out of thin air, and he was typing it up, and he's like, "This character is an absolute cunt." Sorry, pardon my language. And I was like, "Hang on, that's Kaiser's character, isn't it?" He's like, "Yes, it is."
Yep. Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway,
The game's
back
a lot
to
of fun,
it.
and I will just to preface this, or not to preface it, but to qualify all of this. The game is a lot of fun. Jesse puts a lot of work into it, despite he has a job and a family, and he's still putting a lot of effort into the game. And I really appreciate it. I make his life hell sometimes in the game, and usually over very tiny details. Like the big stuff, I just kind of breeze past. Sorry, go on. Let's keep going with the quiz. We're wasting time telling anecdotes here.
Alrighty. So next question, and if you get it, I'll be impressed. But at the same time, it is something you will have heard several times. Okay. What is currently my favorite meal?
Curry.
Okay, final answer.
Yeah, just I said what immediately popped into mind.
Okay. Incorrect.
What is it?
Burritos, man.
Burritos.
Yeah. I've been craving burritos so much like last month. I've been going on about it in game.
Que es tu
Wow.
mexicano?
Can't believe you don't care enough about me to know my favorite meal. Especially after the fucking the food conversation we had.
I
Challenge thing.
just went off and cooked after that.
Disappointing. We spoke about that for like 2 hours.
I know. But
Alright.
I tend to have a very bad memory for personal details.
Hmm.
Like, I'm very good at remembering, like, numbers. Well, the math thing earlier. I'm very, very good with, like, numbers and technical details, which is why I'm an engineer and not a psychiatrist. But I do not remember personal like, somebody has to tell me their name, like, 4 times before I remember it. There are people I've known for years, and I still forget their names sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just, for some reason, that's the way my brain is wired. Like, it's just not a detail that I keep in there. I felt really bad. There was a guy I worked with for like 5 years, and we were in a meeting, and I was introducing people on a call, and I just blanked on his name. I felt horrible. But go on, come on. Next
Okay,
question.
right. Seventh question.
Oh God,
maybe a very similar vein to the last question.
Okay.
Okay, bam. What is the name of the tree in Norse mythology which has roots connecting the dread realm Niflheim?
Yggdrasil.
The god. Say again.
I can't pronounce it, but it starts with it's Yggdrasil or something like that.
Correct. I think it's Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil.
Yes, I was going to say connecting the dread realm Niflheim, the god's realm of Asgard, and Jotunheim, the land of the giants.
Yeah, you're talking. It's a history and mythology question. I got this.
Exactly. I put a couple of mythology. I don't know how I actually like those kind of questions, and I was like, oh, I got my mythology book. Let's have a quick flick through that.
It's stupid things like that. I don't even know, like, the personal conversations we've had, actual podcasts that I've done. I don't remember those. But that random detail of Norse mythology, I got that right here.
Hell yeah.
Didn't even have to finish the question.
Next question. Is Die Hard a Christmas... Wait, hang on, no. No, we've already done this one. It obviously is, obviously. Okay, next question. I need to drink for the previous one anyway. Yeah.
You do, yeah.
Mm.
Also, I apologize to any viewers. I just made a vulgar gesture on screen.
Don't worry, it was purely directed at me.
Yeah, I'm not flipping you, the viewer, off. I am flipping Blue, the quizmaster, off.
Okay, right. Next question.
Yeah.
On Steam, what game have you played the most hours on that I have also played?
PUBG.
Bam! 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Nailed that shit.
I was thinking, like, oh, what have I played the most? It's either Skyrim or KOTOR or PUBG. And then you said that I have also played in, like, PUBG.
I've also played Skyrim.
Yeah, but Skyrim, it was lower than the other. Skyrim was, like, one of the other... In my top 5 played games, it's up there.
Okay.
But no, PUBG, like, I remember we racked up something like 250 hours in the course of, like, 6 months. Like,
yeah.
We played them.
But it could have been, I think, the close second was CSGO.
Yeah. It was in 2017. That was actually the height that my YouTube channel ever reached.
Yeah.
I was getting... It wasn't a lot. I was getting, like, dozens of views. But even dozens was like, oh, man, people are actually interested in us, like, running around like dumbasses.
And then that dumb fucking pistol video.
that got, like, 12,000 views. It probably got featured in some other video. That's what probably happened.
Yeah, and it's still coming up today.
It's still getting views. It's still the top viewed video on my channel, like, per month. It got 28
kind
views
of
last
depressing,
month.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is very depressing. No one gives a shit about what we're doing now.
Okay, right. Next one. Bam. If a lion walks up to you, but it turns out to be a doggo in disguise, what is he doing to you?
Bamboozling me.
Oh, he got it! Yes! He's doing a heckin' bamboozle.
I knew. Oh my god, I'm so happy that I actually got that.
Oh my god, I'm also so happy. Alicia's gonna be fucking bouncing off the walls. Yes, a heckin' bamboozle.
Oh man, I'm kind of
Nice.
I'm kind of shocked. Like I'm suddenly getting I'm suddenly catching my stride in the second half of these quizzes.
Taking another drink. That was probably a drink and a half because I was so proud. Okay. Okay. What was the first discussion we ever had on the TMCJ podcast?
Was it the overpowered characters one?
Let's take a final answer.
Yeah.
Pause the clock. First discussion we ever had on the TMCJ podcast. The overpowered protagonist. He's fucking nailing these. Holy shit.
I
This is
can't
probably
believe
the highest you've ever scored.
I know. I
Ooh.
was so like dejected early on because I was like, "There's no way." I was like, "I'm fucking up left and right. This can't.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a disaster."
To be fair, you only got the dice one wrong because you've got about the D10.
Yeah.
I almost put it in my coffee.
It's what was it? Irish coffee? That's whiskey and coffee.
Oh, well, it's just black coffee, but I almost poured pineapple and mango into it.
I know. But Irish coffee is actually a drink. It's just coffee
Yeah.
plus whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Not being a coffee drinker, I would know nothing about that.
I love coffee. Okay, yeah, cool, right. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Name the different Tetris blocks with their corresponding color from Puyo Puyo Tetris.
They have names?
Well, describe them. I'm not going to make you give their official.
Okay, straight block is like a light blue, like a cyan.
Correct?
The T-shaped block is purple.
Correct?
There's a Z block one way and a Z block the other way, and one is green, one is red. Square
You have to
block
tell
is
me which.
yellow.
Which one's...
Oh.
So the Z and the S block.
So
Which way around?
the one where the top is pointing this way, I'm closing my eyes so I can picture it. One where the top is pointing this way. Oh, the camera's reversed. Shit, so the opposite of that. The one where the top is pointing to the...
10 seconds.
Shut up. The one that top is pointing to the left is the green block, top is pointing to the right is the red block. I'm forgetting one. Oh, the L block. It's dark blue.
Time's up.
Is that all of them? Did I miss one?
You missed the orange L block.
Oh, I hate that block anyway.
The dark blue is the R block. I can give you half a point
Okay.
because that was quite impressive. You nailed purple T block. Yep, light blue line.
When you said their names, I'm like, names? They have names? Like, it was one called Fred? Like,
The S block is green. The Z block is red.
did I get those forwards or did I get those right?
I think you actually got them backwards. I could be wrong. It's very hard to tell because I can only see a portion of your screen.
S. Well, so I said, that's why I said left and right. But
Yeah,
I also don't know left from right. So, that
Yeah,
doesn't
this is
help.
true. But you're very close, so yeah.
It's really weird because, like, if I'm walking around outside, I can tell you immediately which way is north, south, east, and west. But if you ask me which way is right and which way is left, I have to think about it.
No. Okay. Pardon me. Oh, God. Oh. Jesus. Okay. Ready?
I am ready, sir.
Which podcast episode displayed on its thumbnail Jesus and Shia LaBeouf carrying English and American football?
Oh, fuck, this one was relatively recent. But I don't know for certain. I'm going to say 18.
Okay, and do you have a title for it?
No, all my titles are fucking, like, goofy amalgamations of what we talk about.
Well, exactly.
in the
I've told
podcast.
you what's on the thumbnail, so you could infer.
Actual cannibal Jesus football. I don't know.
Actual cannibal Jesus football. What a sport. Okay. It was episode 11.
Oh fuck. It's older than
Celebrity
I thought.
cringe and sports.
Celebrity cringe in sports. Okay. Episode 11. Yeah. Oh god, that was jeez, that was more than half the
Yep,
podcast ago.
it was. That's why when you said it was pretty recent, I was like, "Ooh, that's gonna go bad."
Well, that's why I said 18. I thought it was somewhere in the middle,
Hmm.
like either, however it is. But
Yeah. Take your drink.
oh, right, sorry, here fiddling around.
Oh my. Okay. Moving on to question 13. We're getting through them.
All right, good. Oh, I gotta refill this again. I'm fucking
Tell
up.
me when. Tell me
No,
when you're
go
ready.
ahead. Go ahead and ask the question. Just don't
Okay.
start the timer until I say go.
Well, that's cheating.
Go ahead and read the question. I'm done.
Okay. How old is Master Chief?
Oh, fuck, this is a good one. Um, let's see. He was 30 something in the Halo books. In what, like now, or in Halo 4, Halo 3, Halo 1?
I see when he dies.
He doesn't die. He hasn't died yet.
Oh, okay. I typed in how old is Master Chief and it gave me an answer.
He's old at this point. The Spartans age slower than everyone else because of the genetic modification. So he's
Yeah. I
somewhere.
think
in
it's
his,
not counting cryostasis or anything, I think.
Okay, so he's somewhere in his 50s. I'm gonna say
I'm going to say you get within 5 years.
within 5 years. I'm gonna say 54.
Okay. Pausing the clock. 47 years old.
I was really close. If you the plus or minus
Just
5
outside
years,
the bracket.
yeah, it was 2 years off. I knew. Okay, so the Spartans were recruited when they were 6 years old, and then they were given all these genetic modifications. So, like in the events of the Halo games, Master Chief in Halo 1 and 2 he's in his like late 30s at that point, or a little bit older actually, I think. But he's still fighting far beyond the capabilities of a normal human who's in his 20s.
Hmm.
But yeah, in the later games, they actually make reference to this. In Halo 4, there's a admiral that shouts at him and says, like, I'm not going to listen to the delusional ravings of an aging Spartan and his malfunctioning AI.
Yeah.
And they're making a point because, yeah, he is, at that point in the game, he's in his 40s. Like, he's getting a lot older. But you're right.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you are getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I turned 33 this year.
Oh, man. Just after Halloween, right?
Yeah. Birthday's in November.
Oh, right. I still got your present from like 2 years ago.
I've still got a present that I was intending to give to you when I was going to go to Britain in early 2020. Honestly, the moment they open up international travel again, I'm there. I'm so fucking
Absolutely. I'll be ready.
I
With
am
burrito in
I don't
hand.
I don't care if they what it costs. I've got a bunch of back pay that I haven't spent on anything. Coming to see you. And we're going to do a live podcast. No, we're not.
Hell yeah. All right.
We'll try. Anyway, go on. Questions. We're going over
2 questions left.
Okay. Actually, we're not too far over then.
No, we're not.
I thought we were doing worse for time because I feel like I'm waffling a lot, but
We didn't go off for much today. Although the last question might be a bit of a tangent one. But who knows?
yeah, we'll
Okay.
find out.
Second from last. Go. What does the name Prometheus stand for?
Can you give me the context, like the sci-fi universe?
Okay, so I'll give you a bit of context. So,
Is this from
obviously
Halo?
From Greek mythology.
Well, from Greek mythology, I mean, I'm asking, like, you're asking for the acronym. But there's a lot of different sci-fi universes that have used Prometheus as an acronym.
We're not talking about sci-fi. We're talking about straight up Greek mythology.
I didn't know it was an acronym. I mean, Prometheus was the Greek god who gave fire to man,
He is. He's
and
known as the champion of mankind.
yeah, exactly, and he was a punishment for it. I didn't know
Yeah.
it was an
He was also
acronym.
the most clever of the Titans.
Yeah, I did not know it was an acronym.
5 seconds.
I'm going to fail this
Okay.
one. But
All
let
right.
me speculate real quick and try and think. Polis, Reus. I'm assuming they're Greek words. Omni. Might no, I'm not even going to bother. I'm just embarrassing myself. Come on, what does it mean?
The name Prometheus stands for forethought.
What?
Yep, forethought. But he was the smartest, so he thought, forethought.
I thought it was an acronym, and I was supposed to guess like what the acronym stood for.
Oh, wait, what?
When you said what does Prometheus stand for, I was like,
Yeah.
I thought like it was like a P dot R dot. Like I thought it was an acronym.
Oh, no, sorry, no. Would you have guessed it either way, though?
No, I wouldn't have guessed it. I would if I had understood the question, I would have guessed that Prometheus stood for knowledge.
Okay.
Because that's what he was in Greek mythology. He was the Titan that passed fire to man to start civilization.
Possibly, it's speculated he also created man.
Yeah. The latest iteration of man, because in Greek mythology, man was created 3 times: the men of gold, the men of silver, and the men of bronze. Anyway,
there you go.
So go on. Little bit of a mythology dump there again. I I have all this random trivia in my head, but I couldn't answer that or understand the question.
Final question of this momentous occasion of the half-year podcast. Oh, yep.
I almost cheated.
The half-year podcast runs to an end with this final question. In the last tweet put out last night on the TMCJ Twitter account, where is the squirrel?
What? Where's the squirrel?
Where is the squirrel?
Alright. This is cheating, because you know that I don't use any social media. I specifically made the
our own Twitter account.
I specifically made the podcast and gave it to you to manage because I don't like social media. I've been thinking about how to delete my Facebook account for a while now, and I haven't done it. The squirrel is in the bottom left.
Okay.
Bottom right.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Okay. Pause the clock. Alright, I want you to go to the TMCJ Twitter account right now. Open up the latest image.
I should still be signed into it. Alright, let's take a look at this. The British fought the Zulus today.
What? Oh, okay. Right. I don't remember putting that in the TMCJ.
No, it just popped up. Squirrel. I don't see a squirrel.
One of the boxes has a secret squirrel.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Take a drink.
Grumbly, angry noises.
That's right, in the Disney Square of the bingo sheet for the TMCJ podcast.
Honestly, I should have guessed that. I should have said when you said the latest post, I was like, oh, you posted the bingo card.
Yeah, it was the bingo card.
It was the bingo card, but then you said that, and now I'm thinking, is it a text post?
Yep, there is a secret squirrel which I secured inside of the post before posting it, just for the just for this question on the podcast quiz.
You know, shall we end out the podcast with looking at the bingo card and trying to speculate on whether or not we had bingo this round?
Absolutely, I agree. In
so
fact, are you able to put it on the screen? So you're sharing camera.
Yeah, I can definitely put it on the screen.
Awesome.
If I
well done on today's quiz, by the way. You did a very good
Thank
job.
you. How many questions did I get right, by the way?
So you got Triceratops. First quiz question, you got half a point. D&D Monster Man, you got wrong. Burrito, wrong. Yggdrasil, sorry.
Yggdrasil.
You got right. So 2 full answers correct. Pubga correct. Bamboozle correct. Overpowered Protagonist correct. Pure Tetris was a half one again, so that's...
I went through like a streak of getting things almost right for a good chunk of it.
You got that one wrong. Just got Master Chief wrong. Prometheus wrong. Secret Score wrong. So you got 6 correct total.
Okay, 6 out of 15. Like, it's not... I honestly thought I was going to do quite a bit worse when we started it. So I think that's okay.
Yes.
All right.
Here's
so I think if
card.
I do this, all right. Can you see the?
I absolutely can.
Oh my god! Come on. There we go.
What are you fucking around with it for? Okay.
I was trying to block out because I had a bunch of other tabs open. I mean, I don't care if people see what I watch on YouTube, but
very stuff. Yes. So.
Also, you're seeing my fucking bookmark bar.
That is true, but it's nothing. Oh my god, he has a Blizzard launcher open.
There we go.
Okay,
but yeah, so this is the TMC podcast official.
The TMC.
I am slurring my words because I failed quite a bit of questions. This is the TMCJ podcast official bingo card, again based off of a fan art submission. So let's go through this and see what we find. We're already over time, so fuck it. Let's just end things strong.
Wait, hang on. Oh, fuck. I posted the one with 3 in the middle, not the fucking icon. Shit.
Oh, you posted the wrong one. You fucking dumbass.
You know what? It's fine.
There was another version of this bingo card that actually had the TMC podcast logo in the middle. Also, you can see my my mouse moving around. So, starting at Raging at Twitter, that definitely happened today. I called it a hive of scum and villainy.
Oh, that's true. We didn't really go into it. We didn't lay into it much.
All right, so we'll come back to that then.
Okay.
Trying not to swear. You did apologize for saying cunt.
This is true.
Messed up the intro. I didn't do that this time.
No, I was very close to doing it for the 3rd segment on purpose. I didn't.
Oh man, apologies for interrupting.
I definitely apologized.
God, yeah, I did it too. Nostalgia. I don't think we did this one this time around. Like I talked about people sympathizing with like older sort of what's the word, like classical movies and characters, but I don't think we in particular talked about things we were nostalgic about.
No, I talked a bit about Red Rising, but I wouldn't really call that nostalgic. It's not that old.
We'll pin that. We'll put that one in the same category of trying not to swear.
Okay.
As a meh.
You mean rating at Twitter?
We'll let you at home decide.
Yeah. Correcting the other person. I don't think we did that.
Nope, not at all. Disney. Did we talk about Disney? I mean, we talked about Star Wars. Disney owns them.
True. That's another iffy
I mean,
one.
and we did talk about Disney Star Wars specifically, like the sequel trilogy, which is.
I think it's fair to we talked about Star Wars. Disney counts.
All right, Disney counts. Going back to a previous topic, definitely.
Yep.
Hating on streaming services, we didn't. Although we did want. Before the podcast, we were talking about how much we did want to bitch about Ubisoft, but we didn't.
This is true. That's not a streaming service.
It isn't, but they might as well be because they're just as shit. Segment goes over 35 minutes, definitely.
Definitely.
Waffle on, definitely.
Yeah, that happened.
Disclaiming own opinion, I know I did that.
You did?
Oh, multiple times.
When did you say don't...
So when we were
What?
when I was talking about sociology, I said, "All right, I'm not, I'm not an expert. I am not a,
Okay.
I definitely did this, but when we were talking
Okay.
about like the human interactions and like the monkey brains and stuff, so
Good.
Britain versus America, we did not do that this time.
Nope, not this week.
Suspend your disbelief, we did not do that. Gaming jargon,
Definitely.
yeah, I'm pretty sure we did that. This one's pretty much a given.
Yeah.
A mention of your BF.
My BF?
Yeah, your boyfriend. Your boyfriend who's
Wow.
also a girl.
Well, what year is this? Fuck.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. Again.
Hey, you don't have to apologize to me. You gotta apologize to her.
Alright, fine. I'll say I'm sorry to Alicia later.
Okay.
But you did mention her.
Did I?
You did. Yeah, you were talking about, like... What was it? It was during the media segment we were talking about movies.
Okay.
And her reactions to it. Telling off a video game company. This was a golden opportunity to talk about Ubisoft, but we never did.
But we didn't. No.
I don't
Yes,
think
we
I
did.
actually did.
Didn't
I'm
you?
getting better about not whacking my mic during the podcast, so
Ah,
that didn't happen.
nice.
We did have something planned for this segment, so this
We
one's
did.
not
We were ready this week. Holy shit.
just a regular chat. Just some
That is
guys.
when it goes a bit fucking weird and crazy.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Movie night did get talked about, so that's a definite.
Yep.
Looking something up that happened multiple times. Messing up an
Yep.
actor's name.
Nope.
Yeah, we didn't
Didn't
really
talk
do
about
that.
actors.
All right, have to tell something off podcast. That didn't happen either.
No, it didn't happen either. I don't think it's bingo this week.
I don't think it's bingo either. Like, there's a couple that are close. Like they almost
I
got the
thought-
top row, almost got the bottom.
Top left to bottom right. I thought we almost had that.
But the thing is, it's kind of at audience's discretion, and we're recording this live, so who knows if we're actually right?
Yeah, if you did get anything right, tell us. Shout bingo in the chat.
Yeah, please. But yeah, we've
Wait,
already
is there
gone.
a chat for Spotify? There isn't, is there?
There isn't for Spotify, but there is on YouTube, and we do have a Twitter account, as you were keen to remind viewers. So
Indeed.
they are
TMCJ podcast.
they are welcome to chat us up there. Do you have any final thoughts before I close this out for the week?
Here's to another good half year of podcasting.
Oh God, yeah. Hopefully it does go on for that long, because I personally am very much enjoying recording these things.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're gonna call it there. This has been the end of the 26th episode, the half-year mark for the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening. We're happy to have you as viewers, and we hope that you will keep listening in the future. But that's the end. Have a good week, and Blue?
See you next week.